We good.
Yep.
Shalom, shalom.
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 Hey, we read Hebrew Israelites come in week in, week out, day in, day out, the prophesied downfall and destruction of America, so on, Babylon, great, according to the Holy Scriptures, before we get started with the Lord, and praises to the
YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH.
the Bible, to the apostle, the elder, great millstone, ruler, peace and mercy to the elect. Like I said, we the brothers from the GMS Cleveland Church, back in the spirit. We hope we pray this edifying. You know, and you say you named it what?
Just GMS Cleveland rolling in the spirit.
Yeah, we just rolling in the spirit. If a brother got a precept, they can bring the precept out. First and foremost, if a brother got to say something, you know, we've mentioned the things on camera. You know what I'm saying? Judgment, the Heavenly Father bringing judgment. Like that Benjamite, you're a slut. You're a slut. Like that video, you hear me? Because remember what she was saying though? Before the apostles started going in on that bitch, you know, the infamous or the famous "You're a Slut" video. She was like, "Judgment, judgment." You hear me? So that's what the Heavenly Father, you see, bringing it in the earth. You got a precept, man. You got it.
The second Ezra chapter 6. I'm gonna start at verse 23. It says, "And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid." But you done had many people that received the little alert to their phones that talked about, you know, I believe it was in October, that they would basically test the alarms that's on people's phones and radios and TVs and whatnot. Why? Because they know, these elites know, okay, the biblical Edomites beginning with their elites, they know that they are engineering a crisis to come. Okay, and within that crisis, you're gonna have all hell break loose. That's why you get the term. You hear brothers and elders say, "No shit is going to hit the fan," to the point where it's gonna be all out chaos.
Yeah, judgment, like that Benjamin chick said. She was in the spirit for that part. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the Heavenly Father about to send out here. You see? Go ahead.
Second Ezra 6:24. At that time, shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So, like Yahawashi said, you know, because of the iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So you're gonna have people that's so-called day ones that grew up together and things like that, but they're gonna be treating each other like arch enemies, like arch nemesis.
Bring that back.
Second Ezra 6:24. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run.
Yeah, because slip my mind. But the latter part of that verse, man, is we got a lot of talks going into EMP attacks, cyber attacks. You know what I'm saying? The grid attacks and so forth. As a lot of these talks, it's more prominent now than it was just a couple of years ago. It was rumors, but now it's more prominent. Talking about China going to do this and Russia might do that, and you know. But the point is that it's in the media, okay, and they're talking about blackouts. They're talking about a lot of different things, and that's what that verse is going into, because the waters is backed by the electrical grid, all right, which pumps the water system into the people homes and into the different industries, the restaurants and different things throughout the cities. All right.
Yeah, because there's the spirit, because you mentioned the water, like the scripture said, it was like a security breach or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Just like recently.
Because
that's what they can do. You can sabotage the drinking water. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Lord willing, the Lord, well, they've been sabotaging so much shit going. You can't forget about the train, bro.
Right. Right.
You see, you feel me? Oh, because it was another one in the Ohio River where it had some barges. They was carrying some type of chemical, some hazardous material. That bitch was all in the Ohio River. Was that supply drinking water to what? Millions of
people. Yep.
See?
Yep. See, people think that's just gonna just brush over like it was just like a rainy day. Yep. No, bro, that shit that went into the water, bro. Yep.
It's a lot of shit going on. Going back to the judgments, right?
Yep.
The situation in Pittsburgh. with that Jake, they said it was over 2,000 shots fired. That situation in Pittsburgh.
Damn.
It wasn't in Pittsburgh. It was in a city in Pennsylvania. I forget what city in particular. You see? Huh? You ain't see it? No. So that's another form of right judgment. Because ultimately, what's that going to grow into? Race wars.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. That's like the verse of Brother Red. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead,
that's all tied into the shutdown of the society. This is all connected. The race wars, the uprising, and the sedition among men. You know what I'm saying? The love of many waxing cold. The conditions of the people is tied to the system. They're invested into the system. So whatever way the system goes, it's gonna have a reaction to the people, man. If it goes down, it's gonna cause a reaction. Esau knows that. You see, it's gonna cause them to go into an animalistic nature, which is survival of the fittest. All right, acting off impulse and impulse. All right, without thought, they're gonna just act off the first because they're gonna be deprived. They're gonna act like beasts, man. And that's what Esau is getting. That's what this is moving into. All right, we'll go there.
I'm gonna jump to 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, and verse 11. It says, "But I will bring them." I'm sorry, verse 10 says, "Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. But I will bring them with the mighty hand and the stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof." And that mighty hand, that stretched out arm, ultimately is talking about YAHWASHI and the miracle he's going to perform when he delivered the elect of the nation of Israel. But the Lord said he's going to smite Egypt with plagues as before. And one of the plagues that happened to ancient Egypt was a blackout when it was complete darkness. And the brother just mentioned how it's going to be another blackout. You got that been going on in the talks for the past year since Russia invaded Ukraine, and we know that's going to happen again, and that's going to lead to all hell breaking loose. Okay, people gonna be doing all type of things. They gonna be running at grocery stores, Dollar Generals, your Save Lots, your Aldis, and things like that.
Another thing that came of Egypt was the water. The Nile River was turned into blood, so the water was contaminated. It was undrinkable. So it's a situation that's going to happen or take place where the water is going to be, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be undrinkable. You see? Which cause like the living organisms in the water to perish. Therefore, now you can't fish for your food, and you can't do certain things, so that it trickles down to your food as well.
Which is what's going to cause that for real. That's what's going to turn. That's what's going to cause a lot of these animals to move out of their places, and instead of them places where they dwell without the city, they're gonna start to wander into the city.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
In the backup road point, because you mentioned the Ohio River, right? Because the Ohio River runs into the Mississippi River, and the Mississippi River is likened to the Nile River. It cuts through the entire North America. All right, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, bro, like that's another plague that the Lord brought upon Egypt, and that He touched America with one of the same plagues, which is Mississippi. Like I said, is knocking into the Nile River, and the Ohio River is where the train derailments, the chemicals were spilled into, man. All right, which the Mississippi River supplies a vast majority of the drinking water to the entire country. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead, Art.
And that's a main trade route. You know what I'm saying? That's how they move commerce.
Oh, it says
that's a part of their traffic. Pursuant to the scriptures, that's how they got rich. A river like that, like the Mississippi River, you know what I'm saying? Like the brother says, the equivalent to the Nile River. That's what the Nile River was known for.
Yep.
Feel me?
Yep. It says the major tributaries are the Arkansas, Illinois, Missouri, Ohio, and Red Rivers. You know, so it says given their flow volumes, major Ohio River tributaries like the Allegheny, Tennessee, and Wabash rivers are considered important tributaries to the Mississippi system. See what I'm saying? So that's the way that Esau he moves in secret. Like if he just attacked the Mississippi, but he got to attack rivers that lead into the Mississippi River. You know what I'm saying? On the back end, you know what I'm saying? It's little small city towns and shit that niggas ain't paying attention to.
Devil, he always attack your water supply.
Huh?
That's a part of the art of war. You go into the book of Judas and the Apocrypha, brother, to get that matter of fact, because that's what they did to the city. They cut off the water. Holophanes, if I'm not mistaken, they cut off the water. You see, because even pursuant to the scriptures in the book of Sirach, they talk about how, the cheap things of life. So water is it's an essential, it's an essential element, to sustain life.
Right.
But that's what they did in the book of Judah. They cut off the water supply. You see, if I'm not mistaken, I think it is. They did do that. And even one of the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers or one of these individuals, he said he controls the food or something like that.
Yeah.
Control the people.
Yeah.
You showed me, so food and water, they go hand in hand. You see, which one is more valuable than the other? Because one you can go a longer length of or duration of time. You know what I'm saying? Without the other.
Yeah, without food and without water.
Yep. So that's water is vitally important, man. You see, and that's why you got that dude Moses West, who created that atmospheric machine where he draw water from the atmosphere and things of that. Because water is H2O. That's what we breathe in, oxygen.
Right.
You see, because you're in the spirit, Lord, and that's the spirit named Moses and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. You see, he said to get rid of any drought.
Was that dude that got killed at the
Not the Buffalo shooting.
Okay.
He had made his F-150 run off of water. He created a system.
Yeah.
Which that system been around for decades, but he was like some type of engineer or some shit like that. You got something?
Yeah, I got that precept before.
Can I get a quick one before that?
I'll go.
The other one, Brother Porter. Sirach chapter 39 and verse 26.
Yeah.
The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt.
Right, which Esau noticed.
Oh, right. Esau do know that, right? Because when you look at the movie, the Book of Eli.
Yes.
Remember that dude, the one dude, I forget his name. He the one who controlled the water supply. Remember?
The main nigga, right?
Yeah, the main nigga who wanted the scriptures. It's not a book.
Yeah.
It's so happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To be aimed at the hearts of the simple, that nigga was going in.
Yep.
But that's how he had control of that city. He had the water supply.
Yep.
You see, he had access to the water. You see?
Man.
It's a lot more. It says flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil and clothing. They said these are the principal things. In other words, for principle is important. You know, in order to sustain human life, these are things that's needed. Okay, brothers going into to the water.
Yeah, and Esau turned those things into weapons. He weaponized it. You know, and now it work against us instead of for us.
Yeah, you drink. So you got something known as PBA with the plastic. So now you got the water in the fucking the plastic, the sunny, you know what I'm saying? The Deer Park water, mineral water, this kind of water, that water, and when you drink that water, it basically depletes your body of the natural minerals that your body naturally produces, man.
Yep.
You know, going hand in hand with the point you made about how it work against us now.
Yep.
Water, food, it has no calories. You see, majority of these foods like carbohydrates and shit, they break down to sugar. Yep. You see, so who was reading? No?
I'll read it in verse. Sirach 39 and 27. All these things are good are for good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. Like these things are created, you know, and they are turned into weapons, you know, be it Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he is weaponizing these things to the point where they destroy us. The same things that's supposed to help and give us life, they actually destroy us.
Right, he trying to play role reversal because it said the same things that for the godly are, you know what I'm saying, they are, read that last verse, because that's what he reversed it and he put himself as the godly and trying to make it look like we are the you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, all right.
Sirach 39 and 27. All these things are for good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil.
Yeah, bro. Like he tried to make it like because he don't live his life. He don't eat the same shit we do and drink the same shit we. You know what I'm saying? So he look like he the godly because he don't participate and the things that we need every day, which actually works against us. So it makes it look like we the opposite, like the roles are reversed. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say too, just to land back on what you're saying, you know, it said that all these things are good for the godly in a way. That those things are going to be given to those godly men, all right, especially in a time of dearth. But it said it's going to be wicked into the ungodly, so therefore they're going to be without those things when they need it the most,
Right?
Because of their wickedness, man.
Right. Keep it Isaiah 65.
That's a spell.
Yeah, you kind of break up the brother. I got that precept for you. In Judith.
Yeah.
This is Judith 7. I'm gonna start at 20. It's like to probably like to 22. Really down, but I'm gonna stop at 22. But it's Judith 7 and 20. So thus all the company of Ashur remained about them, both their footmen, chariots, and horsemen, 34 days, so that all their vessels of water filled all the inhabitants of Bethulia, and the cisterns were empty, and they had not water to drink their fill for one day.
It's like a reserve, for water. You know what I'm saying? It's like where you store water at. The cistern is. See? It said, go ahead.
It says, and the cisterns were empty, and they had not water to drink their fill for one day, for they gave them drink by measure. Therefore their young children were out of heart, and their women and young men fainted for thirst.
Salakia, and if I could just elaborate, when you gotta eat or drink something by measure, it's like a tease. You know what I'm saying? Oh, go ahead. Salakia, I didn't mean to cut you off. No, I was just saying, like, it's a tease because usually when you drink or eat something, you do it to the point where you're nourished. You know what I'm saying? You drink to the point where you're not thirsty anymore. You quench the thirst. You eat to the point where you're full. You're no longer hungry. But when you have to do it in measures, like a tease, because you're still hungry. You know, you're still thirsty. So you got to have discipline to be able to sustain yourself in a situation like that.
Right. And you're not getting the proper, they said measurement. Meaning like you ultimately not getting the proper measurement that your body needs. You're being depleted of the correct measurements that the body needs. You know what I'm saying? That's why they fainted.
Right. You need a certain amount of calories that you're supposed to take in every day. You're supposed to take a certain amount of calories in. You know what I'm saying? Every single day. You know what I'm saying? Nutrients, vitamins, so on and so forth, man. Every single day. You see?
Which Esau know that too, if I can add, because he even go down to the workforce. The way with the jobs and that brothers have, a lot of these jobs are factory jobs and inside of buildings all day, right? He depletes you of the nutrients, the minerals you get from the sun, right? The body, you know what I'm saying? So Esau knows that, like when he knows that. That's why the job systems is set up how it is. Everything is set up to deprive you of the measurements that your body needs, that it receives from the earth. You see what I'm saying? Then when you actually go to the earth and you try to get those measurements, that's the foul too. You see what I'm saying? Because Esau know that too. So that's why he weaponized the food, weaponized the water, weaponized the clothes. You know what I'm saying? So it's really no escape. You know what I'm saying? Besides the Lord, man. Go ahead.
We show you it's the Lord sustaining us now. You know what I'm saying? Because even like, you know what I'm saying, brothers touching on the water, you know, even down to the, like, you know, said blood is great. So even the fruit defiled as well, you know what I'm saying? And the good stuff too, you know what I'm saying? They put it, they priced it so high to where Jake can't even afford it.
Bro.
You feel what I'm saying? You can't get it, you know what I'm saying? So it's like they can afford it, but you can't. So Jake got to buy the lesser shit, you know what I'm saying? And it's like even down to the, like, where you go to grocery stores, hell, you done experienced it, you know what I'm saying, firsthand. Where you go to these grocery stores, shit ain't even got seeds in it. You know what I'm saying? All these things supposed to have seeds, you know what I'm saying? So it's just letting you know, like, all this stuff, all this shit that they putting out is lab grown, you know what I'm saying? It's put out to fuck Jacob, you know what I'm saying? The shit that you looking to get from the shit you buying, you ain't even getting out of it because it's so defiled. You got it out.
This is Ezekiel chapter 4. I'm going to read verse 16. It says, moreover, he said unto me, son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem. And staff represents, you know, your support system ultimately. So the Lord is saying that he will destroy, you know, the food stamps, the wick, and ultimately even being able to go to the grocery store and find food. It says, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care, and they shall drink water by measure and with astonishment. So it's gonna be to the point where the things that you do have, you're gonna have to make it stretch. If you got a loaf of bread, that you're gonna have to find a way to make that loaf of bread last you for a month.
You know what that's called? Rational.
Yep.
So that's what it is, right? You go like one egg, okay, all right, drop first, but you got so many eggs, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be serious now. You know how people they just eat, you know what I'm saying? What's the word I would use? Uncontrollably. They just eat. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's gonna come a point in time to where you're gonna literally measure a cap full of water. You wanna you know, which I seen that on certain like television shows, like comedies and shit like that, where they stranded on a particular, like with the movie with Tom Hanks. What's that shit called? Castaway. If I'm not mistaken, this nigga was on the island with the fucking volleyball and shit like that.
I never seen it.
Man, big bro, it's the spirit. I was just having a conversation this morning with people, and exactly what she said was the food that she made. She was like, "It's enough for me to feed the kids. One more serving, of what she made on a Sunday, and this is what Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So she been rationing. You know what I'm saying? She was like, she now starting to go in the freezer, like, which show you being able to get all those things was what's the word?
A luxury.
It was a luxury.
Yeah.
Because she like, I had to go outside in the freezer and like dig for it. I didn't even know it was there. Meaning like you've been buying shit, had shit there, but you overlooking it because you so used to having that luxury of going there to buy when you want, get what you want. Now talking about how the grocery prices so high. I mean, shit, something we experience today. You know what I'm saying? Shit, all the 10 or 13 items, damn near $200. You know what I'm saying?
Shit, what that's doing is it's the humbling of people. Because when you got to ration your foods, that's a humbling. That's a What Revelation 6?
Yeah,
I told the brother guy, you understand? Let's go, man. That's rationing the food because you that's humbling. Like I got 4 of us and I gotta divide it instead of not just thinking that's a humbling experience, man. Because when people don't have the mindset, that mean they on top. That's why she said. I mean, that's why you said she looking for shit. She ain't never know it was there.
Right.
Because in her mind, she's on top. You get what I'm saying? But the Lord is about to humble everybody. That's what we getting ready to go into, man. You know what I'm saying? That the great humbling. All right. You know what I'm saying? So, but what you done in that? Because I want to finish this last verse.
It's one more verse.
Come.
Ezekiel 4:17, that they may want bread and water. And the word want goes into lack. Okay, meaning they not gonna have it.
Right. It
says that they may want bread and water and be astonished one with another and consume away for their iniquity. And the Lord about to allow these things to happen to you, wicked Israelites out there, because y'all wicked as hell.
Niggas gonna starve to
death.
Basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then you got like more, what's the word? More like big ass people, man.
Morbidly
obese people that have to eat a lot of food just to maintain. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine what the Lord is about to do to people like that, man. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of people who are gluttonous. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of people who just overindulge in food, man. And food is what? Food is associated with drugs because it's addictive. So once you're basically forced to basically have once you're basically forced to go without it, then you go through certain withdrawals. You know what I'm saying? Your mind starts playing tricks. So you once you become dehydrated, you begin to gain the plague of the mind. You start to see things that's not actually there. The things that you desire in your mind, you start to actually have mirages of it. Hallucinations. And the scriptures talk about how the Lord was going to send apparitions, man, on the people. And that a form of apparition is going to come through that family.
Yep. And shoot, for real, like even when brother first opened up, like talked about that the plays that they spelled Egypt with. When you read Wisdom of Solomon, I think it's 17 or 18 or 16 or 17 the chapter, it talked about those strange apparitions that they had in Egypt at that time. You know what I'm saying? And so it's the same. It's really going to be the same things all over again. You know what I'm saying? And like even when the brothers like talk about down the family, The scriptures tell you it's better are those that are slain with a sword than those that die by Lamentations 4:9. You know what I'm saying? That die by famine. You feel what I'm saying? Like your body literally eats away at itself. You know what I'm saying? Like literally eats away at itself because of the lack of, like, you know what I'm saying, that want. You know what I'm saying? Not being able to have certain things. You got it out.
You got hella niggas that be on social media that they make money off of just eating shit. You feel what I'm saying? You got a lot of Jakes, you know what I'm saying? They believe that they found their lane and shit like that. Like this, how they gonna sustain themselves and make money and, you know what I'm saying, residual income and shit like that off YouTube, right? These niggas be reviewing food. You know what I'm saying? They be reviewing the food, so they'll go to different restaurants and then they'll rate the shit 1 out of 10.
Yeah,
they'll give it a rate. They'll open the shit. They'll try the shit. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Individuals like that, them niggas gonna be, because them niggas, they kind of like what's the word like infatuated. Is that a good word? With food. These niggas, they're obsessed with food. Like real talk, people who review food, they really like a food connoisseur. That's the type of like they got a particular palate. They like a particular quality of food. Well, imagine niggas like that. You know what I'm saying? Because when you read about in the Lamentation, the 4th chapter, right? When you read it in NLT, it talk about like the royal people, the royal ones. You know what I'm talking about? They the ones who gonna be digging through the trash. The people who was eating delicately of Jerusalem, like the upper echelon, like for instance, the celebrities and shit like that. You know, these different politicians and Jake that's in a lofty position, the bootleg and shit. Go ahead,
This Lamentation chapter 4.
And they showed that, I forgot what movie they showed that on the movie where it was like I guess the visual of the nigga was famous or something, but they got the hood on with the glasses digging through the trash because they didn't want nobody to know it was them looking for food in the trash and shit. You know what I'm saying? It was on the movie though, but that's what's gonna come to these celebrities, man. The niggas gonna be brought low, man. You know what I'm saying? To the point they gonna be trying to hide going into the thing and shit. Go ahead, bro.
This Lamentation chapter 4 and verse 5 in the NLT. It says, the people who once ate the richest foods now beg in the streets for anything they can get.
Mm-hmm.
Those who once wore the finest clothes now search the garbage dumps for food.
Yeah, right. Yeah, those who want like individuals like athletes, celebrities. You know what I'm saying? Jake that's in these lofty positions, whether they got a trust fund, they created a hedge fund, they created a law firm. You dig what I'm saying? They might be having a particular type of business. Niggas are gonna be fucked up, bro.
Yeah, that's why they ain't gonna have no love. That's why it makes sense for them to make deals about eating whose child and, you know what I'm saying, coming up with these crazy scenarios to survive, man. Because they gonna, you know what I'm saying, they ain't gonna be one to they might be able to like, I could deal with it. They probably gonna have it where they can deal with it. I could deal with it for this amount of time. But once you reach that limit, niggas gonna start losing their mind, man. You know, and that's when the lawlessness kick in, like the lack of regard for human life, all right, kicks in. That animalistic nature kicks in, man. But no, was that it on that? Oh, come. I can talk to you guys.
Revelation chapter 6, verse 6. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Right? And when you go into that word penny, it's gonna go back to the word denaries, which is equal or means 10, because the denaries in the ancient Roman Empire, it was equal to 10 asses or 10 donkeys.
Which is equivalent to a day's pay.
There you go.
Right, that's the point. It took a day's pay just to get, the ingredients to make a loaf of bread. You know what I'm saying? So that's the desperate times that's gonna call for desperate measures, man. And it says, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. And what's the oil and the wine? This wisdom and knowledge, man. And actually I had another precept because this wisdom and knowledge is first and foremost is the spiritual food. If you have this wisdom and knowledge, you have this spiritual food, you're gonna be okay going 2-3 days without food. And then the Lord is going to sustain you to the point where, okay, You went through your temptation, and then the Lord's going to bless you with food. The scriptures say how his servant's going to eat, how his servant's going to drink. This Job chapter 23, verse 12, because it said, hurt not the oil or the wine. It says, neither have I gone back from the commandment of his lips. I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than my necessities, more than my necessary food. And that's the thing, man. The body does depend on food for nutrients and growth, but our spirit depends on the word of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI in order to prosper and live, man. And that's what we bank on first and foremost. We highly esteem the word of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI more than food.
The proof is Yahawah fasted for 40 days and 40 nights without food.
Exactly.
He was able to survive off the spirit being fed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the proof right there.
And then us coming out of, you know what I'm saying, the Day of Atonement, we already in the spirit of man should not live off bread alone.
That's it.
Every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI.
I'm going to read John 6:27. I'm going to 35 to 34. It's John 6:27. It says, labor not for the meat which perishes, but for the meat which endureth unto everlasting life.
Right.
It says, which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him hath the power, for him hath the Most High, the Father sealed. And when you jump down to verse 35, right, it says, and Yahawah shall say unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. And there it is, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, you know what I'm saying? Well, this was not the understanding. Us going, and you know what I'm saying? We just came out the Day of Atonement. You know what I'm saying? That's what brothers did was fast. You feel what I'm saying? Like, the world don't know nothing about fasting. You feel what I'm saying? All they know is they, you know what I'm saying? They daily teach, you know what I'm saying? The things that they can get their hands on every day. You feel what I'm saying? They don't know nothing about afflicting their soul. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, they was what's it, gluttony? They was feeding they flesh. They was getting fat in their flesh. Versus we getting fat in the spirit.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That bread of life, like you just read.
That's right. So you know what I'm saying? When we come, like the brother making the point, like when we come across those times, brothers gonna be able to go 2 or 3, 4, 5 days without food. You know what I'm saying? Understanding like, yeah, Lord willing, you know what I'm saying? We them people, them men, but understanding that the Lord, you know what I'm saying, in due time, you know what I'm saying, he gonna give us what we need. You know what I'm saying? He gonna feed us. We gonna drink. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, going to that precept, the brother said before, Isaiah 65 and verse 13.
Verse 12.
It says, therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I call, you did not answer.
Right, because they're aligned with their oppressor, Esau, right? They're going to get the same judgment as Esau, right?
And it said they're going to bow down to the sword.
Right.
So as much as these niggas try to escape death, try to escape their fate, the Lord is going to literally have them in submission unto death.
That's right. The book scripture say what he said, as if a man did flee from a lion and the bear better. And then, you know what I'm saying, he flee from him, he lead his hand from the wall, the serpent bit. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't gonna be no death in the Lord. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, the scripture also say he is as death. That's why they got to get that, because Esau is as death. You take on him a mindset of an Edomite, you not only just commit suicide, man. Because that's what he brings, man.
Because it's to the point where our people literally depend on death to give them life.
That's that, and they don't go that way. It don't work that way. Good.
He says, because when I called, you did not answer, and when I spake, you did not hear. But the evil,
The Lord is calling and speaking.
That's right.
Right now with the prophets. Yep. Starting with the apostles, the elders, the great millstone. You see? So the Lord is speaking, man. You see?
So, because when I called, you did not answer. When I spake,
right, and calling, it goes into a heavenly invitation to embrace salvation. You see?
Yeah.
So that's the Heavenly Father, you know, extending salvation to his people.
Yeah.
Extending his hand, which is Yahawashi. He extended, you know what I'm saying? Yahawashi being the hand.
But they said not at all his counsel, like it says in Proverbs 1. You know what I'm saying? When you read down in Proverbs 1, he say he's gonna cause them to eat the fruit of their own way. You feel what I'm saying? Meaning, like, I'm trying to show you the way right now.
Yep.
I'm trying to help you out right now. I'm trying to lead you right now. But you keep smacking the Heavenly Father hand, literally like you smacking his hand out your face.
No, you didn't just say that.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you just smacking his hand out your face, like, I don't want your help. Like, I don't want this and I don't want that. So then it's gonna come a point where the Heavenly Father hand is not gonna be extended anymore. And when you go to reach for it, the Heavenly Father gonna cause you to eat the fruit of your own way. Meaning that's the same way that you were living after, and the same ways that you thought was helping, go seek those ways and see if them ways continue to help. But you know what I'm saying? Now you're gonna be deserted. The Heavenly Father ain't gonna be there for you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it says, because when I call you, did not answer. When I spake, you did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Verse 13, it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahawah, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. It says, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit.
Right, yeah. So people gonna be in a pitiful case, man. You see?
Mm-hmm.
They ain't gonna know what to do. You see? They be crying out, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The scripture talk about weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah.
Referring to the scriptures, man. So that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Okay?
I would say because people have to turn to the point where they're gonna be doing things that they quote unquote never thought they would do.
Yeah.
That's gonna call that howling and vexation of spirit.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be unstable in the membrane.
Right, like when you get a brick and then you just go upside of little Timmy's head.
Yep.
You see the brick right there. You looking at the brick and you looking at Timmy. And your stomach tells you go get that brick and go upside his head. You know what I'm saying? But that's who got a precept? Who got a reference?
I got just continuing where brother was at. Revelation 6 and 7. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. And his name that sat on him was Death.
Salaki, just to make a quick mention, because since you're back in Revelation 7, these is talking about Salaki, Revelation 6. It is mentioning prophecies that's going to happen in a later time. And we know that because it's talking about the seals that's going to be released, or the vials that's going to be poured out, which hasn't happened yet. So that these are things that's going to happen in the near future in this generation.
Right, at a great level. It says, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, right, which is the Western Hemisphere. You know, America, right, the islands, to kill with sword and with hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth, man.
Because previously it had mentioned, how it would cost the day's wages to buy a specific amount of food, but that's going into hyperinflation. And then that would later on lead to people starving to death, people getting ate by the beasts of the field. And that's going to play a major part in the destruction of America, leading up to the destruction of America. That's how a lot of people go out. It takes the 16th chapter, for many that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and them that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
Yeah, but I just saw an article or a video, I can't remember the two, but it was something about cats. Probably know cats like that they said dude was talking about how the cat, he was like, I don't care how your cat is, I don't care how much he love you, you love him. He said as soon as your body go limp, like for a certain amount of period of time, if that cat smell the scent on you of death, it'll eat you. It don't matter what's going on.
Cats carnivores.
Woo-wee. Woo-wee.
Cats, they eat flesh.
God damn.
Cats eat fish, they eat birds and all that shit. Cats, they carnivores, bro.
That's crazy. But just to show you that the beasts of the field, you know what I'm saying, gonna take part in this feast that's about to get ready to happen on the earth. Well, mainly Babylon the Great, various places. Your pets, your friendly neighborhood pet, you know what I'm saying? Your 3 dogs you walk every morning, you know what I'm saying? They sizing you up in the spirit, man. They getting ready to eat you. You know what I'm saying? Or you eat them, vice versa, man. Because the times we're getting ready to move into, man, like Apostles talk about the hyperinflation and all that, man. In Venezuela, I think a pack of egg was like $100 or something like that, man. To the point that they making money chairs, man. But that's the point. It's getting to the point of famine. You know what I'm saying? Famine goes into the scarcity of some things. Not saying all food won't be dispersed. Disappear. It means it's going to be a scarcity of extreme scarcity of being able to access the food like you once were. The delicacies of having food at your right at your front door. You got DoorDash, you got Uber. I mean, all these different apps, you know what I'm saying? You got your refrigerator stock, you got your deep freeze, you got your uncles and aunties, your barbecues, shit like that, man. You know, once that's taken away, man, people you see what the fuck happened with people with the Popeye sandwiches and shit like that, man.
And when eggs go up to $100, what you think America's gonna do?
Bro, man, bro.
Right for that shit. And you said that was in Venezuela, right?
Right.
They out there rioting and looting, man. Them people going crazy out there.
They cast their money in the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So when they charge $100 per egg, the main ones that's gonna rise up is Esau.
Yep.
They ain't finna pay no $100 for eggs.
Exactly.
That's a violation of they. You know what I'm saying? No, they gonna say that's price gouging.
Yep.
You see?
Yep. Because niggas been low. You eat these Edomites in this society. They somewhat been at a higher, because the middle class is being stripped out and it's just gonna be rich and poor. The middle class is like the elder Yashawamba was making too. Like the middle class is what built this society to an extent. Like they're ones that build the middle class, and
yeah,
then
they the blue collar workers.
Right.
Bro,
exactly.
And it will show you too. That's a beautiful point too. And it just shows you the spirit that he really gonna be in that time. Because a lot of the shit Jake been experiencing, he ain't never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you ain't never seen certain shit or been through certain shit, the desperation that grows inside you, like, man, he gonna be out here taking Jake shit.
Yeah, the big
and you see all that weaponry that, like, Jake think they be doing something like packing their little 4.5s and they Glocks or they ARPs and shit like that. The shit he been having or got when they start to roam the street. And you see it in these movies. The shit when they hit the streets and neither one, you don't see.
That's because it's their blessing.
Mm-hmm.
It's their blessing. Literally their blessing. Even though was making mention, like we still at war and all that, but it's their blessing.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? You can't from the Lord, like you can't get around that. So them niggas gonna use their skills skillfully. You know what I'm saying?
What he been saying.
These are them niggas that practice at ranges and in their backyards because they got the space, and you know what I'm saying? These not your average Edomites. These niggas is coming for blood, man.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? So the ones that don't have the Lord on their side is going to be consumed by the Edomite wrath. Well, the Lord's wrath. He's going to use the Lord. The Lord's going to use Esau to dish out that wrath. Being his sword. Well, you got something? Go ahead. Okay, calm. Y'all got anything else?
2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. I'm reading 15. It says, "Woe to the world that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth not."
Right, meaning it's near, man. It's like it's at the front door, man.
"And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands."
Right, which is modern day sword would be like the guns, shit, a brick, your bats. These are active. They qualify to be modern day swords. Okay.
They gonna have literal swords.
Yep.
Because eventually ammunition gonna run out.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't got an endless supply of ammunition. Just like who in particular got that? The U.S. Army.
There you go.
The Navy and them niggas. The Air Force.
Yep.
Average civilians, they don't possess the material or they don't possess the capability to even manufacture bullets at a high capacity like one of these fucking companies Esau got. So even if you got, because you got a press where you can make the bullets yourself. You see what I'm saying? But not the quantity and the amount of time that you could do with a fucking factory, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Who gonna bring in the bullets? Like ain't gonna be no trucks running, ain't gonna be no factories running, ain't gonna be none of that. We read earlier in 2nd Ezra, the springs of water is gonna stand still. It's gonna be a halt. It's gonna be a stoppage in society, just like we saw with the Islamic, right? It's gonna be a stoppage in the earth, man. All right. It has to be another stoppage for him to kick in that second gear to issuing in his NWO, man. But you got it. So those are the modern swords in their hand, like knives, pocket knives, different shit like that. Quick daggers. You know what I'm saying, that you can't necessarily see and it can just hit you with. You got it out.
Verse 2nd Ezra 15 and 16. "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Meaning they not gonna want to hear what the governor got to say, the mayor got to say. Damn sure what Sleepy Creepy Joe or whatever president is in office at that time got to say. But the course of their actions shall stand and their power, meaning whatever these people got to set on their mind to do, that's exactly what they gonna do.
Yeah, I forgot who said. They said it's not gonna be a 2024 election. We shall see. But if that's the case, that will mean a certain event will have to come against what they have set up in terms of rules, and it will have to uh, uh, bring in martial law, which means the Constitution goes out the window. You know what I'm saying? And then because if martial law is established, the what is it the president and his staff remains, man. So that would cancel out the 2024 election. You know what I'm saying? So it can go either way, man. But either way it go, it's gonna still be the same fucking result. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a new president or whatever, they still have the same agenda. You know what I'm saying? The two wings of the same bird, man. So at the end of the day, it don't matter who's in office. They're gonna still they're still gonna push this agenda. You see what I'm saying? Which is gonna cause an uprising of the people, man. Because you're seeing it already. With it, is liberals the right word? I don't know if I'm using the right word, but
Patriotic.
you got them, like the people that's down for the Constitution, down
You got
hard.
liberals and then you got conservatives.
Okay, yeah, water.
So the liberals is like the more free
right.
like more hippie type of Edomites, they're more, you know what I'm saying, like all inclusive. You know what I'm saying? The conservatives, they ain't on that shit. They you know what I'm saying, pure Christian family household.
Right.
They people, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Water. Then you said the pick with the
Patriotic.
them niggas, man. Like them niggas diehard Constitution, Trump heads. You know what I'm saying?
They call constitutionalists. Like those people who like believe in the Constitution and shit like that, they call constitutionalists. So that's what they go back to. So they feel like, because basically a lot of these like Edomites, because you got state law and then you got federal law. So they be saying that how like a lot of state laws, they violate their constitutional rights and shit like that. So they want to kind of like do away with fucking state laws. They kind of like infringing on their rights and shit like that. You know, even to the point where you trying to like disarm Esau because that's their blessing of sword, right? So even if you got certain individuals, they've been convicted, you know, by a state or court of law, they say they still can carry a firearm because that's the part of their constitutional rights. You know what I'm saying? So no law should be able to infringe on your constitutional right. That's the point that I'm trying to make, and that's the sentiment of these Edomites.
Right.
They're like, this law can't infringe on my constitutional right because they believe that the Constitution, it trumps everything.
Right, which is why they gonna rise up like they gonna they gonna do, because they gonna be like, nigga, y'all going against what's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Yeah, because that's why you had the I want to say that it was a war. I want to say it was the red coats and the blue coats. If I'm not mistaken.
Red coats and blue coats.
Yeah, I forget what that war was called, man. But you had people who was fighting for the Constitution. That's what it was about, man.
Oh yeah, the red coats, military. It says American Revolutionary War.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it says they don't really give much. I have to go into it, but
it's called Chihuahua. I was just mentioning that. You know what I'm saying? But that was the precept you had. That was it.
Yeah.
You finish it?
I got one more. Second Ezra, going to the next chapter, Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 17. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days. Because the Lord had enlightened Ezra. Okay, he gave him the visions of what would happen here in the latter days. And it was so graphic to the point where Ezra was like, damn, how the hell am I going to survive? How the hell am I going to make it through these days?
Right.
You know, which if you understand what's to come, you will have that same mindset. And the answer will be to seek the Lord and get on his good side. You know, because those that's not on the good side of the Lord, that's not within, you know, the fold of his mercy, they're the ones that the judgment is going to take place upon.
Right, because he said, who going to deliver me in that day? It's like, he understands, bro, showing you that, like, bro, it's going to be that bad to the point, because the scripture talk about that in Sirach, like in the day of poverty, is forgetfulness of prosperity or something to that effect. In that moment, bro, your mind is going to shift. That's why the only way we're going to survive, we read in Isaiah 65, is through the Spirit of the Lord. That's why he said, my servant shall eat, and you should be, because The Spirit of the Lord is the only thing that's going to sustain us, Lord willing, Isaiah 33:6. And that time's going to keep us stable, keep us centered while chaos is happening around us. We're going to just be walking through that motherfucker, Lord, reading, you know what I'm saying, no matter what, even if it's facing death, man. You know what I'm saying? Our minds is going to be stable because it's going to be a battle of the minds in that time, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a battle of the mind now. But we're training in that spirit in our mind right now. So that in that time when it get real, our spirits are activated. It's going to activate itself. That's why Yahawashi said, think not what to say when you come before governors. The spirit going to be activated. That spiritual training just going to kick in. It's going to be second nature to us, man. It's going to be activated. The faith is going to activate everything, man. Lord willing. So these people are faithless. They ain't going to have that. See, everybody in this life, everybody got everything they need. You know what I'm saying? But that's going to be the one thing, the spirit is going to be the one thing that people don't have in that time to be able to lean upon, man. To be able to get them out of the jam, man. You know? Go ahead, you can close out, bro.
It's
Lord.
It's Proverbs 8:13. It says, now therefore hearken unto me, O ye children, for blessed are they that keep my way.
Right, which hearken is listen, right? To hear, to listen.
It says, hear instruction and be wise and refuse it not. It says,
why not refuse the instruction, bro? Like if I'm building something, the thing to do is to look at the manual. If I go outside the manual on how to properly construct something, I fuck something else up. Just because I think, no, maybe it'll be better. No, nigga, just follow the manual. It's there for a reason. That's the instructions. The instructions is the ways of the Lord, and that leads to life. Okay? Anything outside of that is going to go to death. Go ahead.
It says, hear instruction and be wise and refuse it not. Blessed is the man that hears me watching daily at my gates, watching at the post of my doors. It says, for whoso findeth me findeth life, and who shall obtain favor of the Lord. But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me, Lord, death. And so that's why the Heavenly Father is saying, hearken, like the brother just said. If you listening to me and if you following me, all my ways going to, I'm telling you, my ways going to lead to life and everlasting life. But if you despise my ways, you setting out all my counsel, like he said in Proverbs the 1st chapter, you refuse to listen, that's showing the Heavenly Father you hate him. He said, he that loveth me is he that keepeth my commandments. So anything outside of that is showing the Heavenly Father you hate him. And if you hate the Heavenly Father, then guess what he just told you? He said, all they that hate me, Lord, death.
They say you walk out of the way understanding, you're going to remain in congregation of the dead. And Esau opposed that vibration of the dead. You know what I'm saying? So the judgment he's going to get is the same judgment you got to get, whomever that you might be. You know what I'm saying? If you fall in that lot, man.
You know, so yeah, with that, we pray this to edify. I want to give all glory and the praises to the
BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH.
The Black City Apostle Elder Great Stone, Shalom, YAHAWAH,
DTA soon.